Hey, what's going on, guys? CodeMonkeyKins here. This video is sponsored by one of my subscribers who also became my patron on Patreon recently. So he asks for help regarding the post request and the form data he's trying to pass along with that post request on this Fido.net site. So my task now is not to scrape some sort of a data, not to extract anything, not to store this to some sort of a format, but just to make a proper post request and pass the form data properly, so eventually it would give 200 response in return. That's kind of it. So this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing in this video, and this is already the second video in the row regarding the post request. If you've been watching the previous one, you probably remember that there was quite a pretty similar issue. So instead of using the SCRAPY form request method, that is an easy way to submit forms using Python SCRAPY framework, I've been using the bare SCRAPY.request method, specifying the request method as post explicitly and passing the form data not as a dictionary in the first version, but instead I was passing this as a bare string within the request body. So we're supposed to be doing something very similar in this video. So the very first thing to consider, let's just open the developer tools here, and I just need to find a proper post request. My subscriber has been pointed out, so let me just find the next page here. So this one, and here we got this post request, and if we have a look what happens on this side, it gives some characters in return, and this is the exact data he actually wants to scrape. So my task is actually to get this response within the SCRAPY. So let's go to our headers tab and grab the URL, and then grab the headers and basically try to make this request. So I've already created this file called fido.py, and let's start with well, I'm not going to be making my extended headers as I usually do, so let me just say post request to Fido API by CodeMonkeyKins. So this should be literally enough here. So first we need to import some packages, and I need to import SCRAPY, and from SCRAPY.crawler I need to import what is known as the crawler process, and this is needed in order to be able to run the scraper from within the Python script, which is the practice I always follow in my videos and in my jobs as well, basically. So Fido scraper definition here. So class Fido, which inherits from SCRAPY.spider, and let's define the scraper name, which would be equal to, let's call this Fido like this, and let's also provide the main driver. So I can say if name equals to main. In this case, I want to run my scraper, and I just want to create the process variable that would be the instance of the crawler process, and then say process.crawl, and using my Fido scraper as an argument. I'm sorry, guys, as an argument here, and finally say process.start. Okay, so let me just open terminal, the current working directory, and by typing python 3 fido.py should actually run. Okay, SCRAPY, so SCRAPY like this. Okay, yeah, so now it works. So now let's specify the base URL we're supposed to be making our requests to. So the base URL would be this one, copy, and base URL equals this stuff here. Then we need to provide the custom headers, and headers here. So now to make it a little bit faster, rather than copy pasting this stuff from From the browser, response headers, no, not this one, request here headers. I will go for a little trick here. So if I just grab the entire stuff and just copy, and then I would like to open the Python interpreter and create the raw headers variable, a multi-line one, so just store them, and then I can say simply like raw headers split by the new line. Okay, so everything but the first element, so we can say starting from first element to the very end, and now just use the list comprehension in order to do the following steps. So just to parse this string to a dictionary, so for header in headers, and now we'll need to import JSON and create a variable called headers. That would be the type of Python dictionary, and now we need to say headers.update, and here header.split by, so I'm parsing every single line, I'm splitting this by the semicolon, by the colon, and here I'm taking the first element, and then header.split and by the colon and the very last element, and also this one should be stripped to get rid of unnecessary trailing spaces. Okay, and finally I want to print this to screen, so json.dumps and headers and indentation equals to 4 spaces to match the Python indentations. Okay, not stip but strip, sorry, strip. Okay, so now we got our headers, so let me just grab them and copy and get back to my source code, paste. And the only issue here is, is the cookies. So cookies, I just already know this, they are not taken like in the whole, but as far as they have some semicolons within the cookie string, we need to actually copy them manually. So I'll take this cookies here, so just copy and paste. So now this should work actually. Okay, so I guess from now on, and one more important thing here is obviously we need to provide our form data. So post request form data, and I just create this form data, and this would be the type of string, and I just want to grab this. So this is the most essential part within the entire video, by the way. So usually we do like, we just grab this stuff, and this is already parsed, so we just make a dictionary out of this data and then using it within the form request, but it fails quite pretty often. So instead we need to use this view source, so not the view parsed, but view source. And here we have the bare request body here been inspected. You see, like the bare request body, this is the exact string we need to make use of, and as far as already type of string, we just paste this in, and that's it. Very simple. So now let's define our crawlers entry point, def start requests is a standard method of the SCRAPY.spider class we're inheriting from this one. So this is the exact method that this crawler process starts this is the first method being invoked by the crawler process when it calls the crawl method with this scraper name as a parameter. So it takes only the self instance, and that's kind of it. So here we need to make HTTP post request to Fido API, and I just simply say yield and scrapy.request, and now the bunch of parameters. So the very first one would be the URL, and the URL would probably be just the bare self-base URL, and that's it. So self-base URL, this should be enough. then method would be equal to post, and this is a very essential part, so take care of it. So headers would be equal to self.headers, so we're using these headers being passed along with our request. And now body, which would be passed in the form data, so it should be a string, and I'm just using this form data as a string. And finally the callback function and for form data, which is the type of Python string already. Let's use this self.parse, and this is kind of it. So if I did everything correctly, so this is parse callback method. So if I did everything correctly, so just define the parse, it takes the self instance followed by the response object, then it should actually be able to print the response.text after making this request. So let's actually check this out. I don't need Python interpreter, and let's try to run our Fido scraper again. Okay, some error here. Body equals form data, name form data is not defined. Yeah, obviously we need to say self.form data because it's the inner field of the Fido class. So let's try again. Okay, still something wrong here. So I'm just getting redirected for some reason. Yeah, just getting redirected. Okay, let's see. Well, this should be happening due to either wrong headers or okay, maybe the cookie session is already outdated. I'm not sure. So did I pass the headers? Okay. The point is that I have just written this this sort of a source code and already sent this to my subscriber, and it seems like I did literally the same thing here. So I'm just a bit wondering what can get wrong here. So cookie, everything should be just fine. Just gets redirected. Oh, session expires. So probably, yeah, probably something is wrong with the cookies. So just copy this. So this is also a pretty important part. Well, probably this happens due to the expiration of cookies. This is happening from time to time. So okay, let me just click next again, and I would like, so everything else, or hold on a sec, is this content length? Oh, so this is gonna get a bit different. So yeah, in this case let's actually try to make this one. Well, I could have changed the headers, but I guess they will the cookies will expire by the time I would be doing this. So okay, if I just can I hope this is going back, and 100 1140 in here, 1090. No, it's not the one. So maybe try this is absolutely different one. Well, okay, if I just I'm not sure if I can actually disable this content length here. So I will now try to update the cookies. Oh guys, I understand why this is happening. Sorry. I don't need all that stuff. I'm not sending the cookies really. That's the trick here. So yeah, obviously I forgot to specify the custom spider scraper settings. So custom settings equals, and here in order to pass cookies as not as but along with headers, we need to say the property called cookies enabled equals to false. So the idea is very simple. Well, first let me just make sure that it's supposed to be working. Oh, you kidding me, man? Maybe I just hold on a sec. Maybe I just misspell this cookies here. So yeah, I've already probably dropped that file that I've sent. Okay, so let me quickly check this. Maybe I just misspelled this. Okay, let's just go to SCRAPY documentation. It should be here. Cookies enabled. So seems like it's pretty nice still. Well, I feel a bit confused because it now really should work. Okay, yeah, probably, I don't know, maybe there was some sort of a typo or something, because you see, like, now it finally gets the response basically. So here we got this table with these characters that I have no idea what do they mean basically, but nevertheless it's kind of exactly what it's the exact response that actually needs to be scraped for my subscribers. So this is kind of it, guys. And yeah, now let me explain this little trick regarding cookies enabled equals to false. So the idea is, if this setting is not being set up, so let me just command this and run this again. So you see, like, it gets redirected due to the session expired error here. So it thinks like the session has been expired because no cookies has been provided there. And the idea is that even though these cookies are specified within the headers, they are not actually getting passed along with the request, because by default within the SCRAPY framework we need to specify cookies here within the request. I'm not sure whether it's plural or single, probably like this. But so we can make use of this definition where then we actually need to pass the dictionary, so the cookies shouldn't be parsed. This is a real pain, but this might be useful when we need to use the dynamic cookies instead of the static. But here it's literally enough to use the static cookies, and in order to make use of them we actually need to explicitly say that cookies enabled equals to false. So from now on we can do this dynamically within the request, but we can do this statically when the cookies are actually specified within the headers. So this is kind of it. And now we just make this request, it just gives the proper response. So yeah, probably just was some typo there, I'm not sure really. So this is kind of it basically, and from now on we can already actually try to extract the data from this table and store it to whatever format we like. But as far as this tutorial is actually dedicated to passing the raw form data along with the post request. I'm not going to be covering the data extraction here, especially bearing in mind that I have no idea what these characters actually mean, so it would be incredibly difficult to order them appropriately. So this is it, guys. So again, like, let's summarize what we've done here. So we did use the raw string passed within the body along with the post request, and we did set up this cookies enabled equals to false in order to be enabled to pass our cookies as the headers, as the part of the headers. Very simple. So these tiny little tricks can be very beneficial from time to time. So this is it from my side. I hope you've learned something interesting out of this video. So yeah, until the next time, and take care.